Welcome back to The Armchair Meddler, where I review news videos usually of a sensational nature and I give you my opinion. Even though you didn't ask for my opinion, that's what makes me The Armchair Meddler. Alright, let's see what we have on cue today. Arkansas State Police stand by pit maneuver to end pursuits. Okay. So before we get into this video, I want to remind you that it will be my first time watching this video along with you. And before we get into that, make sure you are subscribed. Also press that like button. So let's not delay. Let's get right into this video.
Real-life police chases feed a cottage industry of content providers. High speeds, tense moments, dramatic endings. All reasons videos like these get clicks.
Now, here in the Arkansas state, police often use what's called a pit maneuver to end these pursuits. Tonight, THV11's Rolly Hoyt explores why the use of this specific method is not slowing down.
The frightening sound of skidding tires and crunching metal. An Arkansas State Police trooper deliberately flips an SUV after the driver refused to stop after he went.
Okay, so this announcer saying that the officer deliberately flipped the SUV. I don't think they deliberately flipped the SUV. Okay, perhaps he used the pit maneuver, but I'm sure his intention wasn't to flip the SUV. Did I hear this guy wrong? Did he actually say that the officer deliberately flipped the SUV? Let's hear that again.
Not slowing down.
The frightening sound of skidding tires and crunching metal. An Arkansas State Police trooper deliberately flips an SUV.
Okay, he said it. You heard it. He's claiming that the Arkansas State Trooper deliberately flipped the SUV. That is just such irresponsible reporting. What in the world is this person thinking?
After the driver refused to stop after he went to pull her over.
This incident made headlines in 2020, not because of the spectacular crash, but because the driver, a woman pregnant at the time, later sued the trooper. The case wound up in federal court where the state and the woman reached a settlement. 2 years later, law enforcement experts still consider the pit maneuver an important police tool.
Precision immobilization technique, which has actually been around since the 1980s.
Kevin Davis is in the Law Enforcement Hall of Fame. 4 decades of experience from concert crowd security to running a SWAT team. His life now is all about training cops on how and when to use force, including using vehicles to stop and catch suspects.
PIT is a specific technique that is a trained technique wherein the officer intentionally collides with the subject vehicle, forcing a spin out.
Arkansas troopers receive advanced training, and the agency policy about vehicle pursuits reflects that. But before and after the controversial 2020 case, if a trooper concludes reasonably and objectively that stopping a chase protects people, they can execute a pit.
I attempted to pit him before he got into town.
So how often do they actually do this? Looking at data from state police, they engaged in an average of 482 pursuits a year from 2018 through 2021. Troopers used a pit maneuver to stop a chase an average of 108 times. That equals about 2 a week. 3 suspects died, 204 others were injured, 43 troopers and 38 civilians were also hurt. Davis says a proper...
Okay, so they just showed those numbers on the screen, but the one key factor in all of this is that it's the suspect who's causing this. If the suspects did not flee in their vehicles or somebody else's vehicle, if it's a stolen vehicle, there would be no need for this. It wouldn't be happening. So let's put the blame where it belongs, and that's with the suspect.
A trained officer in a properly equipped vehicle can pit a suspect with a high degree of certainty and safety. But there's an important factor when making that decision.
Normally, the pit maneuver is not done at speeds in excess of 35 miles per hour.
Hands up! Hands up! Normally. But then there are chases like this.
Calling driving a dark blue Chevy truck with 2 tags. He is going to rifle and handgun.
September 15th, 2022. Arkansas State Police Trooper Joseph Killian is alerted to an allegedly armed man barreling down I-40 toward North Little Rock at more than 100 miles an hour.
42 Little Rock. I'm 1037 with them.
The suspect truck swerving across all the lanes and shoulders while weaving through one of the busiest interchanges in the state, just before rush hour.
We'll be inside lane speeds over 110.
After 5 minutes, another trooper in the pursuit makes the call.
71 secondary, I got the radio. Just drive 40. When you get a chance, we get past this traffic, hit him.
Trooper Killian executes a pit, sending the suspect's truck into the median, parts flying. The trooper careens in front of oncoming traffic.
Pit.
All of this happening well above 35 miles an hour. So how can this be allowed?
And what we do is we balance the person's right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures with the government's countervailing interest in taking action or seizing the person.
We asked the new state police commander, Colonel Mike Hager, to explain. He couldn't meet us in person, but sent us a statement saying partially, the agency is intentional in training troopers to make these calls. State police prioritize 3 factors once a chase is on. Reduce the risk of serious injury. 1.
Okay, so they're showing the motorcycle. I know for certain they're definitely not going to pit this person on the motorcycle, because yeah, that would basically more than likely equal death for the person on the motorcycle.
To the innocent members of the public. 2, law enforcement involved. And then 3, the suspect trying to get away. And because they are trained, the option is available even at high speeds.
And if their perceptions are that this subject poses a risk of death or serious bodily harm to the innocent, the public, then, you know, whether it's the use of a firearm or a pit maneuver or ramming, it can be used.
State police say troopers know the risks. Davis wonders if more criminals knew how a chase could end, they would think twice.
And the funny thing is that giving up in today's society, you're probably going to get low or reduced bail and get out. So the risks that you present to the innocent citizens out there, because you want to get away, is certainly substantial.
In Little Rock, Rolly Hoyt, THV 11 News.
Now, the suspect in that September chase, David Barber, is due in court next month on charges of terroristic threatening and fleeing, and both of those are felonies.
Now, training how to do pit maneuvers is expensive, and Davis says most local law enforcement agencies can't afford it.
But state police tell us that troopers get 76 hours of special training as recruits, and then 8 to 16 hours annually during what they call in-service training.
Okay, so yeah, that's going to wrap up this video, but I just wanted to say that the reporting was good in this video, except for the part where they claim that the trooper, I believe it was a trooper, Arkansas, I believe it was, intentionally flipped that vehicle with the pregnant woman in it. I mean, that's just slanderous to say that the trooper intentionally flipped the vehicle. Yeah, that part of the reporting of the story was just bad and inaccurate. But yeah, we're going to wrap up on this one. Hopefully you enjoy watching. If you can, please press that like button. Also subscribe if you aren't subscribed. And we hope we'll see you on the next episode of The Armchair Meddler.